Welcome to another edition of O Reacts with your brother Puerto Rican Omar. Alright, today's video is from a channel called Allah is the Sustainer, and the title is Antichrist, Dajjal, Behind Technology. Here's the proof. Let's get right into it.
The father of the space age. That's what they call him. You know what he said? I'm not the father of the space age. That's the real father of the space age. Okay, now this guy who was at Cal Poly Tech, right? This guy, Jack Parsons, was openly a devil worshiper. He developed the fuel that enabled us to penetrate the stratosphere. Satellites could not have come about without this guy. In his diary that he himself wrote, he had a dream. This is 1948. He had a dream where he saw somebody that he calls Belial Dajjal. And he tells him, you are helping me. Okay, I'm not making this.
Subhanallah. Listen, my hairs just stood up. Did you not hear what he just said? This is 1948. And this man, Jack Parsons, he had a dream of someone called Belial Dajjal who told him, you're going to help me? And then he develops this technology in 1948. Is this not proof that Dajjal is playing a huge part in the technology advancement that's happening so rapidly in our modern times? That is absolutely incredible right there. That is amazing.
So you think I'm making this up? Wallahi, I'm not making this up. You go look it up yourself. Okay, so where's all this stuff coming from? Seriously, where's it all coming from? We're in the age of the Dajjal, you know. It's just Allahu A'lam when and where and what, but this is it, people. As far as I'm concerned, it's end game. Huh?
It's clearly showing that how close Dajjal is to revealing himself, to actually coming out and taking over. I mean, if this isn't proof of that, I don't know what is. And what it makes me think about is how much worse is it going to be for their kids and their kids' kids. I mean, the world is almost unrecognizable from when I was a kid. That's just in my lifetime. So, and it's becoming harder and harder to raise them right, to teach them right from wrong. The amount of bad influences are off the charts right now. And how much worse is it going to be for them and their kids? This is something I think about. I mean, we've seen the world, a lot of us, you know, those of us that are a little bit older, you know, we've seen the world change so dramatically just in the last 20 years. Dramatically. And I mean, some of the stuff we do with technology and other things, I mean, was just unheard of. I remember when Super Nintendo, right, first came out, and seeing those graphics. Now, I'm old enough where I remember seeing like Atari. You know, I remember Pong and stuff like that. Just a little ball and two little lines going up and down. Boop, boop, boop. And I remember when they used to tell us that when I was a kid in school, they used to tell us computers is the future. Now, that might sound crazy to people now because it's like, duh. But for us, that was like, really? Is it? You know, it was such a big thing. They kept telling us. And I remember when Super Nintendo first came out, I remember thinking in my head, there's no way graphics could ever get better than this. As ridiculous as that sounds, I remember thinking like that. I remember saying that. And look at the stuff we're doing with graphics and technology, video games, and everything else. I mean, this is crazy.
You study where all this technology comes from. Okay, read about the magic and the Enlightenment period. All these scientists were magicians. They were all into black magic. You read about Francis Bacon. I just read a biography of Francis Bacon called Knowledge is Power, Magic and the Creation of Modern Science. Francis Bacon was reading all these magical books. Arthur C. Clarke. Arthur C. Clarke, great technologist. He actually has most of the patents that enabled the satellites, right? If you look at his interview with BBC in 1961, where he predicts the internet, he predicts the cell phones, he predicts texting. He said that by the year 2000, people are going to have handheld devices that enable them to talk to anybody anywhere, right?
Well, with that movie, 2001, you're projecting us into the 21st century. I brought along my son, Jonathan, who in the year 2001 will be the same age as I am now. Maybe he will be better adjusted to this kind of world that you're trying to portray.
The big difference when he grows up, in fact, if we wanted to wait for the year 2001, is that he will have in his...
Look at how innocent that kid is right there. Little does he know how wicked the world's going to get by the time he's an adult. SubhanAllah.
Own house, not a computer as big as this, but at least a console to which he can talk through his friendly local computer and get all the information he needs for his everyday life, like his bank statements, his theater reservations, all the information you need in the course of living in a complex modern society. This will be in a compact form in his own house. You can have a television screen like these here, and the keyboard, and he'll talk to the computer, get information from it, and he'll take it as much for granted as we take the telephone.
Arthur C. Clarke said, and he has 3 laws of technology. One of his laws is no technology reaches a level of complexity except it becomes indistinguishable from magic. So, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a Luddite. Right? I'm using a microphone right now. I'm not a Luddite. But this whole worshipful attitude towards technology, to me, is really stupid. This is a book from the 15th century. It's a picture of the devil, and this is something, Muslims used to sometimes depict things. But I want you to look at his hands. See this sign? I don't even want to do it on film because people will take a clip and then have me in one of those pictures doing that sign. It's an evil sign. Don't do these signs, right? And kids watch Spider-Man and then they want to do the sign because Spider-Man does it, right? You don't want to be a Spider-Man, and you want to be a human man.
Look out, man. Look at the wickedness, man. Look at that. So they take these demonic symbols and they put it in the cartoons and our superheroes. And they make them do these signs while they do all this stuff. And they have our children imitating them and making these same signs. Look at the wickedness. Look how it's hidden in plain sight. SubhanAllah.
Right? Not an arachnoid, a humanoid. These signs, even this one, which I don't like doing, but that sign, Muslims should not do that sign. That actually comes out of magic. These are signs that were, they're magical signs. We have no symbols in our religion.
And you see, how many people you see do these signs? You see it all the time. You see it in sports. A guy hits a home run and he does this sign. You see concerts, music concerts. They have the whole crowd doing these signs. Wow, man.
Even the crescent and the moon is a Seljuk tradition. The Prophet ﷺ had no symbols in his religion. It's one of the miracles of our religion, right? Because this is demonic stuff. So that is a very important symbol. Now, this is what they worship, these Satanists, Baphomet. If you notice, he's androgynous, so it's a male-female mixture. Also making these signs. You see the signs he's making using this sign because 11 is the devil's number. Because 11 is 1 beside 1. And you will notice that in their numerology, they use 11 a lot. And they like multiples of 11. 11, 22, 33, 66. They like these multiples. Imam al-Ghazali says in their magic, they know the secrets of numbers. And so they use numbers. The Prophet ﷺ, when they used magic on him, they blew on 11 knots. And this is why the Mu'awwidhatayn has 11 ayahs, because it protects against their magic. So this is real stuff, people. I'm not making this up. This is real stuff.
And how many people just try to dismiss this stuff like it's nothing? Be like, oh, come on, man. Yeah, you being ridiculous, this and that. They don't realize how real this stuff is, like the Sheikh just said.
You either believe it or you don't. And if you don't, it's at your own peril. But this is real stuff. Sihr is a reality in the world, and people practice magic. And one of the practices is through the eyes, seducing the eyes in television and spectacle. It's the sihr of the ayun. You can see Madonna imitating here Baphomet, right? Because she's one of them, and she's a numerologist. She is a numerologist. She practices numerology. This is Lady Gaga, that everybody's gaga about. People tell me, oh, you've got a lot of followers on your Twitter or something like that. I don't even know. I did Twitter one time and regretted it. But people say, and I said, to me that means nothing. Lady Gaga's got tens of millions of followers. So the devil has plenty of followers on Twitter. It means nothing. We want to be on the account with God, right? We want to have the angels following us, pleased with us, happy about what we're doing. Now, Maleficent, you could see Disney, they used to have films where the witch was evil, and now they...
Oh, man, don't let me get started on Disney. Whatever you do not, in my opinion, do not allow your children to have anything to do with Disney. I ain't even trying to go to Disney World or Disneyland or anything like that. I don't want nothing to do with them. I've seen enough wickedness coming from them that I'm good on that. I don't want nothing to do with it. And I suggest you don't allow your children to be exposed to anything that they have to offer, in my opinion.
They entice them. This is the fitna. They make a beautiful... See, they used to make them old hags. If you see the old film, the witch was an old hag, but we get them by degrees. Now they take somebody that many people consider a very beautiful woman, and they put her in Baphomet's mask, and then it becomes seductive. Takes people by degrees. I mean, what is this? Why are they doing this? Why are you wearing horns? We're human beings. We're not demons.
It's like they're trying to associate beauty with wickedness.
And then you can see these signs. Why do they use these symbols? Now, this man over here, Revert, he started the Church of Satan. He wrote a satanic Bible, and he explained that symbol that they're all doing, that you saw on that Muslim graphic of the devil, that symbol, he said, was a curse symbol of devils. That's the way they put curses on people.
I understand that. What are you doing?
I'm giving a blessing to the audience.
I don't think they appreciate it. They were throwing it back.
Well, they thought it was a curse. would you like me to show them how the sign of the curse works?
Sign of the
Completely
curse?
different.
How does it go?
No, not at you people out there in the audience, but this is the difference.
Aim it toward Red China, would you?
This is the sign of the horn. A curse sign, the two fingers extended. This way, spread apart for sort of shotgun blast, you know.
I always figured if I ever met
together.
the devil, he'd have dirty fingernails. Go on.
No, then,
Yes, they are.
where?
Dirty fingernails.
Well, that's because I've been fooling around with your equipment.
Never mind. Don't blame it on the story. Go on with that.
All right.
So that's the sign of the horn, and then what happens? Is that it?
Well, the other ones, too.
Yeah. What are the other ones?
The other one's one of the pox sign. That's three fingers extended.
Pox on you?
The pox on you. During the Middle Ages, this was...
Oh, yes.
But
You're
originally...
a bad cat.
Well, you have to be bad to be good.
Is it true that you teach people how to make voodoo dolls with 6 pins in them to hurt people?
That's right. I believe that hate is necessary in a controlled way just as much as love is necessary. But
Right? And you've got people at rock concerts, they're all doing it, thinking it's cool. Marilyn Manson was a follower of Anton LaVey. He has tens of thousands of people go to his rock concerts. He has them openly denounce God. Openly. He says, I want you all to reject God tonight. And they all do it. So this is real stuff, people. He's very committed to this. He takes it. He's a minister in the Church of Satan. And they use music. Because music is fitna. It's enticing. It sucks you in. You like it. It's enjoyable. This is what he looked like when he was a little kid. And this is one of their symbols also. They use this astrological symbol. This is him on stage. This was a cover of the Beatles because John Lennon was heavily involved in magic. He was a follower of Aleister Crowley. He was a magician and has massive influence on Western civilization. But they followed him. They're in doctor's suits with abortion. The Warner Brothers was so disturbed by this that they covered it over. Now this has no shock value for people in the West. But in those days it had shock value. But this was an album cover that they chose. Because they believed in free sex. Free sex necessitates abortions because people get unwanted pregnancy. Right? This is khutawat al-shaytan. That's how he takes people. That's why Allah says, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, right? Allah says, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ خَشْيَةَ إِمْلَاقٍ. Don't kill your children out of fear of poverty, but then, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الْفَوَاحِشِ. Don't go near the fawahish that will make you want to kill your children. There they are doing these symbols. You see, and this is another symbol. Even though it means okay, it's actually a demonic symbol that represents 666.
Look at the deception. And they have, like, who hasn't done that symbol? At least here, like, we've all done them symbols, like, without thinking twice. Not realizing this is straight demonic. Wow, what a great video right there. So powerful. This is something to really think about. This is not a game. I'm sure this hits us that a little bit older. It hits us harder because we seen how different the world was. We seen the difference. Things that were unheard of, that was not acceptable when we were kids. And it's just normal now. There is no shock value anymore. None whatsoever. To be shocked, it takes something like really, really, really crazy. And that's the reality. You know, when you see this happen in your lifetime, it really hits different. It hits much, much harder. But this is something for the young people to think about too. Because as bad as it's gotten, and it is right now, it's going to be so much worse for your kids. For you to be able to we're going to be that much closer to the time of Dajjal. His system is being set up. It's being put out there. It's happening. There's no doubt about that. And it's being prepared for his return. And the Dajjal is coming. And he's going to take over. And this is going to be one of the major signs. So, something to think about right there. Really appreciate this video. Until the next one, inshallah.